Well, they're losing a janitor, so.
Yeah, which means things are probably going to be more dirtier.
Which means they're gonna have to fucking pay somebody else more to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
I mean, especially when it comes to an entire fucking store, like, as one person, that's just like, frankly, a little too much, especially for the time frame that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for stores that size, probably should at least be like 4, like, 4 in each little corner of the store, in my mind. Because, like, pretty much, you got, like, that second floor, which goes all around, but it's mostly, like, what, like, camping stuff and kayak stuff up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be too hard, to have at least just one dude just up there for a little bit, and then, like, have, like, maybe 2 or 3 down below, because obviously the ground floor is going to be the most busiest and potentially dirty, because that's where most people are going to be wandering around in.
Oh, we don't mop that.
It doesn't get mopped?
If I could mop it...
It don't get mopped?
No.
What?
If I would mop it, I would come there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because we open up at 9, right?
Yeah.
Start the floors at 6. Get the floors done. And then start my bathrooms. I could do it.
My goodness.
But they're doing a remodel, so that's why I can't do it.
Oh.
And I'm not going to mop a floor the fucking day that they're fucking working. It's just like, fuck no.
Oh, yeah, no shit. There's not a point to it at that point.
There is no point.
Yeah, because either it's going to get dirtier or they're replacing it. So.
I don't know if they're replacing the floor or not.
Well. We could upgrade the floor, but who knows? I mean, I never pay attention to the floor. It looks like. I think it's just what? Just concrete? Yeah.
Finally went through all my clothes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I have like 90 pairs of shorts.
I need to do that myself a little bit.
What? Go through your clothes?
Yeah. Kind of try to reorganize it a little bit. This little punk somehow got in between the wall and my bed. It was just like... just on his back, just chilling for like the longest time.
Oh, where your window is in the bed?
Yeah. Like how it'll, because my bed will sometimes like move off, from the side of the wall, and mainly because probably of, just me and him tossing and turning and stuff, and he'll like somehow nudge his way in between the cranny, and it's just like, oh my good lord.
Sarah's mom found out that she vapes. Sarah's mom found out that she vapes.
Well, how'd that turn out?
How'd that turn out? I don't fucking know. She didn't say anything in front of me. So.
I suppose that could either be very bad or not an issue. It's depending on...
Her mom doesn't care, really. And I knew she wasn't going to. I mean, she was going to find out sooner or later.
Right, yeah. So, mostly not a big ordeal. Probably a lecture like, no, I did not want you vaping. Come on now, blah, blah, blah.
Her sister smokes.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I won't be surprised, like, if that's the case, then she'd be like, now get your sister to go vape and stuff, because I don't want her doing that bad smoking.
No, she smokes weed.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Dude,
that's better.
That's even better.
Yeah.
No, her sister does not care for me at all.
Call me a hoe when in reality you're the hoe. You're the fucking hoe, bro. You're the one that keeps coming back. Well, you know what? To be fair, we both keep coming back.
Yeah, you do.
I keep coming back to this shitty platform. And you keep coming back to these.
You don't wear shorts at all, do you?
Not really. I mean, I do, but as more of an undergarment more than an overgarment.
Is it because you're white?
Huh?
Is it because you're white?
My legs are way more reflective than my arms, yeah. That too. I suppose I would have to just say fuck it and just blind everybody for a temporary amount of time in order to tan them, but oh my god. I mean, it's not even really much of a reason for it anyway. It's outside of just like, what, shorts?
I can give you a reason. It's 96 degrees.
Ew. That's why I have my light, my light pants that are not heavy or anything. You don't really have like heavy pants besides my Black Bear pants.
Well, I gave you the green ones.
Yeah, I actually forgot to pick them up. Yeah, they're over there. Yeah, they're still hanging out over there. I forgot to pick them up.
Those are white too.
I think it's just they're not technically work-approved colors or whatever the fuck, but who gives a shit? Yeah, exactly. We're supposed to technically be wearing like these well, no, we're actually have like these gray polos now that were sent in to have like the company logo.
Oh my god, they finally fucking did something right?
Yeah, I guess. A bunch of other people like Checkers and Courtesies and Manager stuff have them, but
They won't give them deli workers. You have to ask for them. They won't hand them out.
Yeah. I think they're probably all in the break room. I just haven't bothered with it because, frankly, I just like wearing my own shit anyway. But
I got fucking 2 of them when I got fucking whenever to fucking Albertsons.
Yeah. I mean, if I do, I'm just gonna pin it up, make it all pinned out, just like I.
Fuck you, dog.
What? Did you go rummaging for your shit again?
No.
Oh.
I just want to say fucking. We love you, you'll cough. You gonna be a good boy or you gonna be a dickhead today? He's like, I'm contemplating being a dickhead.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I was contemplating.
Well, if you want a pair of shorts, I've got a couple pairs. If you want a pair of shorts.
Alright.
I've got a black pair. You wear black more than colored?
If I do wear colors, mostly earthy colors.
Well, they're kind of like this, but they're black.
Yeah. I mean, usually I'll wear, like, black or earthy colors, like khaki blues, greens, and stuff like that.
I don't have khaki blues. I got, like, all mine are usually, like, tan or fucking black.
Well, khaki's, like, tan, and, yeah.
I got a couple of pairs. You just ain't getting my card. Fuck off on
Yeah.
that.
Does anyone else here think cat boys and cat girls are kind of hot? You're talking to a furry. I mean, that's basically like a precursor to such.
Hey, what days do you have off?
Wednesday, Thursday.
You have Tuesday off?
I'm working a mid Tuesday.
Alright, well, when you get off on the mid shift, jump on the dishes.
I did the whole cycle thing, so they should just be able to take a load.
Oh, you re-ran it?
Yeah, so it should take dishes in now. So.
Does it look cleaner?
Hmm?
Does it look cleaner?
It did. It honestly did, so I'm assuming it should be all good now.
Alright, I'll figure something out.
I'm tempted to draw Zukov as a femme doggo boy. I mean, I have plenty of pictures for references, I guess. But, I mean, it's like, shouldn't I be the one drawing him as, like, an anthropomorphic furry doggo boy? I haven't even done that yet. It's like, come on now. Come on now. LA cops brutalized Roe v. Wade protests. Oh my god, I gotta love those fucking LA police gangs. Oh, what the fuck are you? Deaf to you, parasite. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, you piece of shit. I burnt thee, but you lived. What? Fuck. Son of a bitch. So I just read that the ratio of guards to prisoners is 1 to 6.7. It'd be a real shame if there was a collective prison break all over the country. Yep, just awful. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, it'd just be travesty. You know that, like a lot of prison riots have happened in the U.S. before. I mean, and unfortunately, though, that isn't, like, in totality. That's mostly just the average. Like, a lot of jails and prisons tend to be just your average, like, oh, well, someone's caught with some weed. Oh, someone drank a little too much driving around and shit like that. You know, so it's, you know, more or less realistically, like, mild offenses more, and, like, maybe some more serious minor offenses more so than legitimate, like, actual fucking offenses. So most of those people shouldn't even be there in the fuck first place. But a lot of the places where you might want someone in a prison, you know, they actually do have legit fucking tight-knit security where it's probably at least somewhat more evened out. Where it's probably more like, for every guard, there's probably like 2 or 3 prisoners. Which in that way would be a little bit more easier to manage if there was a prison riot. And also a lot of prisons tend to be built in a way to where prisoners can't exactly, you know, get an idea about what the entire schematics of the place look like. They're built to look like mazes, you know, to anyone on the inside of them. It's like the classic Soap song. They're trying to build a prison, and you're in it. No, it's not and you're in it, it's for you and me. They're trying to build a prison, they're trying to build a prison, they're trying to build a prison for you and me. Only, the prison, I guess, in context for them is more of the country. It's, you know, just an open-air prison. Whether it be for the school, the, you know, just the prison industrial complex and shit. Funny enough, I was actually kind of talking to my mom about that a little bit. Because she happened to... I was on my lunch break yesterday, and I was on a phone call with my mama. And she happened to hear me take a bong rip. She's like, oh, are you smoking weed? And I'm like, yeah, I took a hit before, you know, heading back to lunch. Heading back from lunch, yeah. And she says, and, you know, after a while, she's like, you know, I'm honestly glad that you don't do all the, you know, bad stuff like coke and heroin stuff. And I'm like, well, I mean, because one, at least I've known and seen people do coke, and from what I can tell, it doesn't exactly look appetizing. Unless you're a Wall Street banker type, then you got the good shit. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, an average bloke like me ain't gonna get real coke. So, fuck that. And meth ain't no reason. You get that shit over the counter. That's the reason why a lot of people tend to get it anyway. You know, it's because they can't really get the same high from over-the-counter shit, so they get street shit. Same thing for opioids and heroin and things like that, too. So... basically, I mean, there's a whole reason to it, and funny enough, also was that her and I basically agreed that if they were honestly just decriminalized and treated more as a mental health issue, and actually had like treatment available for these type of people, a lot of the aspects when it comes to like crime and a lot of the social ills from poverty and heavy drug abuse and shit like that would subside very significantly. Which honestly kind of surprised me. Like, I remember having conversations about drugs and stuff with my mom before in the past, and she would not have those type of positions. So it's kind of like, it's kind of nice that she's kind of just enlightened herself a little. But honestly, I think it comes from her being, like, partially, like, a hippy-dippy type from her youth around my age. So she kind of recognizes that, yeah, people are going to do that type of stuff, and yeah, it's probably better if it wasn't just treated as a criminal issue, because she might have known people, you know, herself that might have dabbled in stuff like that, but then were caught and got heavily fucked over from it and never recovered. In fact, I have family members like that, too. I have an aunt that used to have a pretty bad meth issue. And the before and after, honestly, not just in, like, the way the person looks, but also, like, socioeconomically, like, legitimately is not exactly recoverable. At least, you know, for a lot of people in that circumstance. Look at Zook off. Sweet little baby. He was being a goof earlier, too. He was just kind of hanging out with me in my bed a little bit. And he kind of rolled over and got in between my wall and my bed and was just like, just chilling there for like 10-something minutes, just like not giving a fuck. I have an uncle who's stuck permanently in a mental hospital because he accidentally got pushed into a pool of 20 hits of pure LSD in his pocket. Oh. Ooh. So some guy, he was like, hey, let me push you in a pool, like that, you know, the thing that everyone likes to do occasionally with people. And fucking just happened to have 20 hits. Oof. I don't usually feel super atheist anymore, but not only has this past week got my dogma meter somewhere in the 90s, but I also feel really anti-capitalist. Fuck you, you're psycho. Fuck you, psychos. Your God's a lie. The free market is a lie. It is. I was watching the Second Thoughts video about how, like, the whole term middle class is a fucking lie, because, frankly, it pretty much is. And, like, how, you know, like, honestly, I was listening to a Vosh clip react to the whole, like, Roe v. Wade thing, and Hunter Avallone, too. And basically, they, you know, both of them, and I think a lot of other lefties are starting to get to the position of, like, yeah, we need, like, the whole neckbeard, fedora, tippin', atheist, edgelords, you know, like, you know, we had back in, like, the during the whole, like, internet religious wars and shit, you know, it's just like, because frankly, that is now needed more than fucking ever, and those people were, like, seen as far as I'm concerned, fucking prophets. Because they were right, you know, from the very fucking get-go. People like TJ, who were being hardcore militantly atheistic and shit, and very unapologetically so, were, you know, every step of the way correct about it. And, you know, and unfortunately, it's really sad that, you know, the whole atheist community split the way it did, but, you know, luckily a lot of them, at least the ones that are worth a fuck, you know, stuck to the guns. And if anything, it's grown from that. You know, like, you know, now at this point, like, there's been new people that are kind of starting to take that mantle a little bit, like Hunter Avallone. Which, honestly, like, from being a weird little right-wing dork boy to, like, this big, you know, progressive, militant atheist type, it's just like, whoa. I mean, he's starting to become pretty fucking based. I'm liking him a lot. Actually, I was listening a little bit of a clip. I won't be able to play the whole thing, unfortunately, just because I got work soon. But here, let me play just like a little tiny bit of it, like the little intro that I got out of it. He actually just uploaded this. Christian nationalists are massive clowns, which honestly, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, frankly, the video itself is pretty self-explanatory, but it's just this one part where he adds in the coming up part where a lot of streamers will do, get people hooked in. Yeah.
The solution for this Christian nationalism thing, and this isn't a joke. This isn't me being hyperbolic here. We need to deport these people.
Oh, yes. Just that hook, that 10-second hook. Oh, based. Give me more. Oh, based. If this is right, most people don't want Trump or Biden one. Yeah, that's pretty much true. I saw that too, and the only thing I would disagree with it is that I think that most people, there are people out there that actually would be okay with Trump running again. Like, not as, definitely nowhere near as many as probably like in 2016 or 2020, but, you know, definitely, you know, there are people out there who are still very, like, yeah, you know, I like Trump. And not even like the hardcore MAGA chud, like, you know, blah, 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 bullshit. Like, I'm not even necessarily meaning those type of people either. They just see certain things about him, like, oh yeah, you know, the gas prices weren't fucked up, you know, during his term, and also, you know, he did stuff like the carrier deal, like, he actually kind of helped with jobs, blah, 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 like, which, even though there's, like, ever so slightly a grain of truth with maybe some of that stuff, it doesn't mean anything, because the carrier shit was more overall still an outsourcing deal, more so than bringing jobs back anyway. And it didn't bring nowhere near enough than he promised. And also the gas prices were going up anyway under his administration. Like, that trend was already happening. So it was just like, it just got worse after the pandemic, and then, you know, and then like the whole like other aspects of like OPEC, and then the war going on in Ukraine and shit. Oh, I use as scapegoats to limit supply, to spike up prices, to make more profit. So religion in general has done more harm than good. I mean, frankly, I mean, it's like, if you took, like, a list of how much shit religion's done bad versus what it's done good, the good would be about yay. the bad would like I like it filled the fucking room. Well, I'd have like a nice little binder of like the good shit in my hand. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty fucking aware in my mind, you know, that religion is honestly, you know, been good. I'd argue the time where religion was useful is largely past. It has. We have a better understanding about how, like, the world works. We have tools and technology at our disposal to help us learn and at least study and figure out how, like, the universe and the world works. We don't need religious weird superstition to figure these things out. Like, we largely, at least at this point, have a general understanding about some basics, and now, like, at that point, we don't really need weird superstition to go from there. Like, you know, back in the Renaissance days of, like, you know, 1403 or some shit, I could still see it, but, you know, these days, nah. I think we're largely past that. And not just largely, I think we just are. You know, but as a species, we haven't evolved away from that yet. Technologically, we have. But that's pretty much about it. Your early humanity used religion as a unifying force. We have other things to fill that role now. I mean, even then, religion wasn't even a unifying force. Like, unifying for the tribe, but anyone outside of that was just seen as an undesirable, a barbarian, or a heretic, a heathen, or whatever fucking shit to scapegoat them. Like, at least, I mean, if we have anything to go based off of religious texts today, I mean, that tends to be the case. I mean, maybe not so much with early, like, animist or, like, pagan-style religions and of the like, but, I mean, even then, there was definitely a lot of groups and a lot of religious, you know, tribes and shit that would use a lot of those type of ideas to do so. I mean, that honestly was. Like, for example, like, Norse mythology, there was, like, human sacrifices as a way to appease the gods and shit. You think a lot of those Viking raids that they were doing were just for the golden wealth? Sometimes they needed a couple slaves and shit, and every now and then some of them were used for ritual sacrifices. I mean, so, I mean, it also is where a lot of things like the Blood Eagle come from and shit, too. It was as much as a ritualistic execution as much as a sacrificial thing, too. Well, I guess it was a little bit of a both. But same thing with, like, a lot of the, you know, indigenous American religions, too, with, like, the Mayans. Like, there was literally a whole festival dedicated to cannibalizing and just ripping the hearts out of slaves and farmers and shit. Basically, like, there was a whole thing dedicated to it. A lot of the depictions of it looked like they could be on, like, some sort of, like, folk death metal album or some shit, but, I mean, it's still brutal and savage as fuck, though. But, I mean, it's not really exactly that much different from what other fucking people around the world have done either, using religion as a justification to do so. And that's what makes it savage. Not the people. The fucking superstition to justify it. Which is used against people. Usually on the same people. Like, the Mayans were making sacrifices on their own people as much as fucking, you know, a lot of Europeans were doing the same thing for their religious crusades and shit. And then, like, a lot of it was used against other religious, like with the what's it called? For some reason, my mind is going to insurrection, but the Inquisition. I don't know why my brain was initially thinking insurrection first. Well, I guess because, like, a modern version of that would be partially Jan 6, I guess. My brain was thinking that a little. But, I mean, more ancient sense, like, I mean, there's, with the Inquisitions, which happened, and then there was, like, the Iberian Peninsula, which a lot of that was, and a lot of, at least the first Crusades, were used as vengeance against that type of shit. because we got a bunch of fucking African Muslims coming in in the Iberian Peninsula, and us Christian folk in these kingdoms need to take some revenge against them and start seizing some stuff in Jerusalem or something. And that's where the other Crusades started becoming a factor, was reclaim a lot of the Christendom that was in the Middle East and shit. Who knew all? It was all horseshit. People with animal heads. What the fuck are these people on? Spears pointed at them. So how about the sun god Ra? Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely, yeah. There was people that frankly probably couldn't give a fuck less about that shit. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's just like atheists and agnostics, always existed. As long as there's always been, some sort of a spiritual storyteller of a sort, there's always been somebody to be like, that's bullshit. Even with the first, caveman spiritual storytellers saying that, but because obviously most of the tribe is fascinated with that shit, the one dude who don't give a fuck in the tribe, obviously it's not exactly going to be recognized as much. It's like, this story's boring, Thag no like. Well, we all think that Thag deserve rock. Glory seeking and honor seeking still is today. Frankly, in a lot of ways, it always has been. So, I mean, nothing really about that has changed. I'd say that still is the case. Because a lot of people, especially a lot of the far-right Christian nationalists that we see in America today, which is also more of a global phenomena these days, because there's other countries like Poland, Hungary, and shit like that that also are seeing this massive phenomenon. Like, there was just a fucking CPAC Hungary event where basically they're like, here's how we do religious fascist, takeovers of our countries. Here's how we do that. Take notes, guys. And, so you got that going on, and all of that's also trying to retain honor back in society, and, glory in trying to root out and destroy the degeneracy that's been plaguing society and all this other shit, and the honor that comes with that. It's all this weird thwarted fucking type of idea that just is all used to just justify whatever type of atrocious actions could be used on whatever group they just deem undesirable or degenerate or heretic or haram or whatever the fuck. We worship big rock and sky, me thou claim. Heretic, me want proof, absence of evidence, not evidence of absence. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just show me. Frankly, it's the whole show me the evidence of it. But it kind of reminds me of the whole Dawkins clip of that one preacher lady and the lady was literally show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. Even Dawkins made fun of it at one point. This was years and years back, but there was some talk he had where he was mocking her, and I think the meme of him mocking her has honestly gotten more leeway than her herself. Because I remember it, he was trying to discuss, their whole debate was basically, what are some, how are, primates and apes, common ancestor of, humans and shit. And Dawkins was, well, we still have some holes, but here's, what we do know from, from Divinians, from Homo erectus, from Neanderthals, and all these other species of, pre-early man. And it was just well, show me the evidence of that. Where can we see that? And it's well, these are archaeological finds. You can, these are studies that have been done, via archaeological digs and have been collected. And there's been, carbon dating and amongst the other. It's just he explains it, and every time he does, she's well, show me the evidence. How do we know? Every fucking time. Basically just trying to make him go in circles and get, angry and frustrated, just so she could be see, atheist just gets mad and walks off. It's kind of sad that Dawkins is kind of a little bit of a TERF, though. Well, I guess maybe not necessarily a TERF, but just kind of anti-trans. I will admit that. It's damn. Why, bro? Why? Because everything else about you is actually pretty awesome. but literally that. That sucks. It's come on, dude. Oh, sleepy boy. It's actually a good sign. Alright, where's the bottom of this bitch? Oh, it's totally unbuttoned. Sweet. Alright, so where's the inside of this bitch? There we go. Religious people may not necessarily celebrate religious catches like flypaper. Yep. Coming along rafting. I'm actually about, like, in 10 minutes or less, about to actually wrap this up ahead of work. Having a little wake and bake and all that stuff for a dip. By glory, seek at me, for example, the Crusades. Knights who go on religious adventures to steal, recover, / steal treasures from the Muslim world in exchange for fame and wealth. And on top of that, probably bring back, slaves, for menial labor work, amongst other things, too. Probably, bounties on more, warlords or top generals and armies and shit, to bring them back, to the kingdom so the king can, or, like, the leaders of the kingdom and shit could see them dead or whatever. About to grab brother from, well, you muted? Well, then you have the video muted because everyone else can hear me just fine. Unless for somehow I got muted out of nowhere. But I don't think that happened. Figured out. Okay. Well, I'm about to actually head off to work here pretty soon. Down a ref. I'm working. I don't have weekends off. Before you realize how you're muted and shit, I was saying about like 10 or less. Pretty much gonna smoke like a couple more bowls here. Chat it up a little bit. Monday. Mid-shift. I'm off Wednesday and Thursday, so those are the only days I got off. The other 2 days are mid-shifts. Well, chat's gonna be fun. Gonna make sure I get 2 coffees when I grab one today. Save one for tomorrow. I already know this much is, I know my mid called in. He texted me earlier being like, yo, what's the assistant manager's number? I don't know it. Don't have it yet. I'm like, fuck, I already know. Though his fucking, like, allergies were just utterly destroying him yesterday. Part of the reason why I actually got off a little late last night was just straight up because, he wasn't really feeling too good, so I just told him I'll mop up the front for him. So that definitely took a lot more time out of my night, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I wanted to mop the front because it was fucking horrible. Like, the floors looked goddamn atrocious, and by the time I was done with them, they looked fancy new. Well, maybe not fancy new, but at least, tolerable. If you ever decide to quit, just kidding, that's a crime. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, dude. Gross. Like, dude, I'd fucking call somebody out if they spat in somebody's food, bro. Like, if I want to fuck with somebody with their food, I do other shit. Like, there's the whole, like, in Starbucks, there's the principle of, like, decaf. Like, where you give somebody decaf if they're a prick, and they're like, I want, like, some triple shot, and they're being, like, a total Karen bitch. It's like, well, guess what? Not only are you not getting your triple shot, you're just not getting any caffeine. Decaf, bitch. You don't fuck with them, any other way, because at that point, they won't notice. They just get their coffee and just, are just still going to be groggy as fuck for the rest of the day. So, that's how you do it. I mean, I just take that principle and just expand it forth, towards, like, a more deli environment. Oh, you want some mozzarella sticks, but you're being kind of a dick about it? Well, I'm gonna probably overcook those for a minute or two, so they're gonna be a little extra crusty. Have fun with that, bud. If you ever want to screw with me, just put mayo on my food. Oh, God. See, with the sandwich bar, it's a lot harder to do stuff like that. Because the person's usually, like, right in front of you. Unless they walk away, then you can kind of fucking sneak some shit on there. But then they'll notice and usually come back and be like, what the fuck? So, I mean, you have to do it in a way where they won't exactly notice. So, there's a trick to it. That's why, you know, it's a lot easier to get away with it in, like, a Starbucks environment, hence, like, the whole decaf principle. Like, you know, like, for me, it's more or less like, oh, so you want a pound of Joe's? Oh, well, guess what? It's about 3/4. And guess what? I'm not fucking gonna tear it off for you, so it's gonna charge you a half pound. Fuck you. Oh, it's a little over? Oh, by a little over, I mean, like, you know, like, 1.5 times more than you wanted. Customer allergic to peanuts, being an asshole. Oh my god. Give it the peanuts. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I want to be that big of a dick. Like, if someone has an allergy and you know, like, I'm not gonna actually be, I'm not, like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to do something that actually is gonna, like, potentially actually hurt them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna, like, that's going a little too far. Especially if they got, like, an allergy like that, because, I mean, especially America's healthcare system, do I really, like, no. I don't want to fuck someone over like that, knowing probably how expensive EpiPens are. I mean, I actually don't know off the top of my head, but knowing America, they're probably fucking expensive and not worth the price that they actually are. I guarantee you they're like, what, maybe like $10 in like fucking Canada or some shit. All in America, they're like, what, maybe like 100? Please don't sit on my eggs, please don't sit on my eggs. Hey, you know, I just spitting a dude's eggs. Wow. Yeah, and I would call you out if you did that. Be like, bruh. At the very least, I'd be like, if you don't want me to report that, you're making him a new batch. Like, right fucking now, bro. Because again, that's going a little too far. It's like, come on. You know, I just realized that. Bring my earbuds in. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna have to grab those from my room. Shit. Boo. Oh. Sweet little cuddly boy. I really want to do that. All I ever do is give him a fully loaded down sandwich. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if somebody was really being a dick and they were wanting a sandwich, I would just straight up fucking, you know, kind of purposely not exactly, you know, put a lot of shit in there. So I make it so it's just like, all right, well, you want a little bit of extra pepperoni? Well, you're not exactly getting extra pepperoni. You're just getting the usual amount, you know, or something like that. It's like, nah. Again, it's kind of decaf principle. It's like, you know, it's like I'm not going above and beyond for someone who's gonna be a Karen bitch. But luckily, you know, at least for me, yeah, it's just like I don't really get many people like that. I actually get pretty chill people, so it's pretty rare for me to actually kind of go decaf mode on people. Jokes on you, ignore. I like my sandwiches plain dry. You fucking weirdo. I hate mayo, but I do love me some honey mustard, some brown. I like mustard, honestly, and some like aiolis. Garlic aioli especially. And then fucking like some pesto and stuff. Dude, it's like, come on, you gotta like put a little sauce on it. Gotta moisten that bread up just a little bit. Goddamn hair. I pay for extra as an additional 0.01 ounces. We actually have these little codes for like an extra add-on of 50 cents, stuff like that. Honestly, if someone's being a real pain in the ass and being a real shitbag, I should totally do that. That's another way of doing decaf. my fucking god. Oh my god, wow. Some dude replied to my comment thinking he got me. Internet save for it. Yeah, I'll be on later. Here, hold on, let me read this real quick. It won't be long. There's this comment that I respond to saying, I think we're all tired of voting for those who don't have Americans' best interests in mind. I'm tired of choosing the lesser two evils. Since, like, and for me, one, then quit fucking participating in it. And two, you know, it's like you have a better, you know, outlets and opportunities for it. Because I say quit participating and expecting different results. It sounds like, so democracy works best with minimal participation. Brilliant. It's like, you know, it's like, wow, you got me. Wrecked. Yeah, like, literally, only if you think democracy is just voting and that's it, then, yeah, then, you know, you got me. You got me, bro. But no, that's not literally what it is. It's like, I'm gonna, like, once I dump this, and sometimes during my break or some shit, I'm responding to that, because, oh my god, what a fucking moron. It was on, Most Americans Don't Want Trump or Biden to run. It was the Humanist Report video. That's the one he uploaded today. So, if you find, it's a dude with a Nintendo 64 controller as a PFP, which that is based. I love the N64. Oh, so many awesome childhood memories with that. But if you find that dude, I guess some fella named Patrick Kennedy, or Kennedy, or whatever the fuck, then you'll be seeing that interaction. Because I'm sure that is gonna end up being a back and forth. Like, good god, I'm already like got pretty much all I want to say already ready to go and slap that. Yeah, I might even say something before I even dip. At least dip for work. I will be dipped here though. At least for now. But anyway, I'll be back on later tonight, so let's peace out for now. And wait, to them, neither is sucking them off after they keep butt fucking you dry. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, if I want to be a little bit quirky about it and be a little snarky, maybe I'll add that at the very end. It's like, basically, too long didn't read. Either of them is sucking you off after they keep butt fucking you dry. So, yeah, you know, come on, bro. Seriously. Won me. You got him. Wrecked. Democracy works with minimal participation in voting. Just vote harder, bruh. Fucking libs, man. I gotta love them. But anyway, I'll be back on later tonight, like I was saying, so at least be safe for now.